Dude, they let it fly. Old dudes just butt naked, hanging out, having coffee, sitting on this leather couch, and I was just like, oh, that leather couch. What's up, big dog?
Howdy.
What's going on, man?
What's the word?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
I just want to tell you about my morning.
I want to hear about it.
Because I always have the best, saddest stories ever of a person who's living a life. So, yesterday.
That's, like that's what we want to put on people. Like,
yeah,
hey,
I want to dump all my problems on everybody. No, but this one,
like shit.
it's horrible, but it kind of is funny to me.
Okay.
Not to my wife at all, but it's kind of funny to me. Okay, so yesterday, my wife and my daughter are like, we're going to make banana bread. They go to the store, they get all these supplies, they come back, they spend like 2 hours prepping it, putting it all together, baking it, and then now you got to let it cool, right? So you take it out, you put it on the thing, it's all sitting there. All right, and we're trying to sell our house, so the realtor came to check in to see if we're ready for the photographer and for all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
realtor comes, we're kind of walking her around, each room by room. She's checking everything. Yeah, that looks great. Yeah, this looks good. Blah blah blah. Let's change that. And we also have a puppy, a golden retriever named Boba. And he's just a fucking piece of shit. He is just so smart. They say smart dogs are the ones that get into trouble. Yeah. He's a fucking genius.
Golden retrievers, aren't they the smartest?
Yeah,
Isn't that,
he's
the smartest breed of dog?
He's so smart. You can teach him to fucking do jumping jacks and he'll start doing it. Literally, he gives you a high five that tells you he wants to go outside. He's learning crazy tricks and stuff. But anyway, he has no self-control when it comes to food. And he's gotten big enough now that he realized that he can literally get all the way up to the counter and see what's up there and get it if he wants to. So here's what happened, okay? We normally have all the doors closed because he's a puppy and he gets into everything. But we open them because we're literally walking this way with the realtor in through here into my master bedroom. And then we walk back out and go into the rest of the house. Well, apparently, while we walked out, he went to the kitchen, grabbed all that banana bread, ate it all in one thing, and it was a huge thing, and it wasn't done yet. It was still soft and kind of raw. And then apparently it fucked him up because he got sick and went straight to my bedroom where we have brand new carpet that he'd already messed up before, and we just got professionally cleaned and got it back.
Oh God.
Diarrhea all over the whole fucking carpet, but not in one place. He just kind of walked around the room. And then at best he was like, oh, man, I feel a little better. And he was like, oh, no. And he went to the corner and he puked. And then he went to the other corner and he puked there. And then after I clean all that up, this is my morning. I'm cleaning all this up. And I'm like, I feel gross. I'm disgusting right now cleaning all this up. I walk out and there's another thing I throw up in the living room. So, yeah. So
that's why you weren't texting me back, apparently.
So that's my morning. My morning, I have literally cleaned up
Wait,
shit.
that was this morning?
Yeah. This all happened.
Oh, shit.
This all apparently happened because we didn't come in here after the realtor. So I didn't know until this morning that it happened. It must have happened last night. But
oh, God.
So, yeah. It's been such a good day.
It's amazing.
It's
I'm
the best Friday ever.
Proud of you for making it, showing up to the show. That would have been a really easy one to say, dude, you're never going to believe this, but we got to postpone this.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Friday.
Well, okay, man.
Fucking Friday.
Well, hey, man,
Good shit.
Yeah, rock and roll. It's all uphill from here.
How's your day going? How's your day going?
It's going great, man. We've talked about it before, but I tell you, man, getting my face in the sun, especially when I have to go drop off Essex, there's a big difference in how my productivity starts. When the family or when my wife goes and drops him off, I'll kind of mosey around the house and I'll come sit in front of the computer and I'm just kind of not there yet. And so I'll go stand outside in the sun and it takes me a minute. But if I go run an errand first thing in the morning, maybe not every morning, but a lot of times that just says like, all right, it's go time. So took care of a bunch of like crap, a bunch of property management crap this morning. I'm feeling like productive. Like it's like when I can check things off sometimes, not all the time. I think a lot of the time it will like, that's what we talked about before. Like when you can see the lines going through the to-do list, it's like a motivator. It's like, fuck yeah, get shit done. What else can I get done? Anyway, so I know you didn't have clean up dog shit on your list multiple times.
It wasn't.
Clean up dog shit. Clean up vomit.
I feel like normally it's just like, I just write on the list something bad's going to happen. And I just like wait for that to get filled in. And then I just go and fix it.
You're like, done.
Yeah. So hopefully that's the one for the day. And the rest of the day is going to be fantastic.
I did earlier this week. I did get a fucking... Well, I guess all flats are not good, but I got like a serious one. And it must have been close to my house because it was after I picked up the boy and I let him out. I'm trying to give him like some normal chores. So anytime we come home after taking the trash out, I drop him off like at the end of the driveway because, we have like this little long driveway. And so he brings it in. He gets out and he's like, what's that sound? And he's like, it's going tss. And I'm like, no. Please let that just be the sound of the car. And I go get out, and the tire is like literally like just flattening.
Oh, dude! I thought you were gonna say there was like a big ass snake or something next to the.
Oh God!
Next to the to the trash can that he was supposed to carry in. He's like, oh, there's just a big giant snake there. But yeah,
dude, my son, he's got the whatever DNA of like being careful. Like it doesn't matter what if he had any idea that there was a snake. He'd be back in the car with his like seatbelt on. He's like, "We got to get out of here." Yeah,
we got to get to the next town. Burn the house down.
Yeah,
burn it down.
Yeah, we're when are we moving, Dad? But well, hey, dude, let's talk a little bit. And I know I haven't really gone deep, and I don't know if you have either. And we're not the Apple nerds we used to be, but yesterday it was the new announcement, and I already see disappointment in your face.
It's not disappointment in the event. It's disappointment in my life not allowing me to sit down and watch it. Because literally, this is what happened. I was like, our friend Curtis and Andre, they had texted us and said, hey, the event starts at noon. At 12:04, I literally
like
sat
Curtis,
down on
he's
my
still
couch.
that nerd, right?
Oh, he's like hardcore.
Yeah.
No, he's an Apple fanboy, like hardcore. And like he's that person that's like pre-ordering everything. Well, whatever the latest thing is, he's got to have it.
Yeah, he already pre-ordered it.
And so like I literally sat down on my couch. I turned the Apple TV on. I pressed the event. It does the little drone thing. And then, Tim Cook comes out and he's like, I just want to welcome you guys to blah. And then my wife's like, I need you to go do something. And I was like, okay. And I turned it off. And I literally have no clue about anything that was announced except for one thing, which is crazy because my company that I work for, we're doing all this predictive crash stuff that like where we do it with the car. And apparently the iOS 16 and the new iPhone and the Apple Watch series are now going to be able to detect that you were in a crash in your car, which is kind of cool. But anyway, I know nothing. So tell me, what did I miss? Is there anything that I should be ordering right now?
Okay, so I think the ones that are not that exciting, Apple does, obviously, we all know, they do an amazing job making fucking ice cubes look incredible, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the one that's not super exciting, but probably still a great update is the new AirPods. But you're like,
I've still never had a pair. You see, I'm rocking my old school.
I know, yeah, and actually that's better for these types of things that we're doing, these podcasts.
Yeah, I know. I'm better than you.
Fucking going out. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Thanks, man. So anyway, so there are AirPods. There's basically like three big updates. There's the new Apple Watch update, and they have like this like rugged one. I don't know. They're not calling it rugged. It's like extreme. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
It's Ultra or something, right?
Ultra. Yeah.
The only reason I know that, I was reading some stuff this morning, and it was talking about how if you don't have Apple Care, it's going to cost $500 to fix anything on that watch.
Woo. Lord Jesus.
So get Apple Care.
Apple Care, folks. Yeah. Well, I will say, You have had one, but you don't normally wear one, right? Or you've never had one. Oh, you've got one. Damn it! I even saw this earlier when you raised your hand.
No,
I've never had
one. This is my third or fourth one, because the one I just had, my dad literally, he's always been like a Fitbit guy, and he literally was like looking at mine going, I want one of those. Can I have that?
You're like, I was great. I need a new one.
Yeah, here you go. And no, I didn't end up getting a new one. I've been working on this project that's like all around Apple Watch data. And
that's right.
The team was like, you need to be wearing a watch. Like, we're building a product about a watch.
Fucking buy me one, dude.
So they just sent me one. So I started wearing it.
Oh, they did?
Again.
Okay. Props to your team then. Because I was talking shit. I was like, oh, you want me to wear this shit?
But I already... So back to me feeling like shit. Our friend Audrey, she's like hardcore, like trying to fill the rings and like loves like, you know, like the to-do list of the fitness part of it. And so she set up a challenge of me and her that started yesterday. I've done nothing. I was like, I'm going to make you like feel like a champion. You are going to fucking defeat me every single day, and I'm going to do nothing. Because not only did I do nothing yesterday, it died. Like, I forgot to charge it, so it died in the middle of the day. So I just had it sitting there doing nothing. So it wasn't even tracking the little steps I was taking around. So I will lose this competition.
This is your style of coaching. This is going to be your model. It's going to be all right, we're going to have a challenge together. Oh, damn, you beat me. Damn, great job. And it's going to motivate them to be like, fuck, I fucking beat Ray. Like, all right. And then
I don't know, maybe I'm setting the bar pretty low right now.
Yeah, by doing nothing. Yeah, maybe we're going to have to work on that. But, well, so anyway, the new Ultra, I like that it's Ultra because, you know, when you're being active wearing your Ultra watch and you go home and drink Ultra beer, everything, it's all health focused. Everything health focused is Ultra. So anyway, I actually think it looks pretty cool. I've always been very reluctant, and we've probably talked about this, but one of the things in the pretty early days of the Apple Watch that immediately annoyed me and it turned me off basically completely was I had a meeting, and it was a meeting that this another business was trying to make with. They were the ones trying to schedule the meeting, and this guy wanted to talk about his thing or whatever, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't like this big business opportunity. It was more like a, hey, you know, how can we help? How can we just talk? And like, he was a friendly, so, but he was the one that wanted to do it. And I say that because we, you know, hadn't scheduled the meeting. We're sitting in this, you know, boardroom, and the dude, he's a super cool guy. Still like him, but in that moment, he like kept looking at his watch, and I was like, Brady, you got to go. And he was like, no. And at first, I wasn't thinking about all the notifications. And then he kept doing it. And I was like, I had to bring it up again. It was so, I'm pretty forgiving of like when people have to pick up their phone. I do make a comment. I'll be like, hey, dude, take care of what you got to take care of. But I will get annoyed if somebody's just constantly on their phone. But I also don't want to be that guy. It's like, okay, fucking, we're supposed to be here talking, and you know, yeah, we know we live in a different world, and you get notifications, and we're all just trained now to like check it a lot. But like, as long as you can refrain and be like, sorry, I just got to make sure, you know, we're all busy people, right? So I'm okay with it a little bit. Well, this dude, he kept checking his watch, and I was like, dude, like, if you got to go, it's cool. And he was like, oh no, I just keep getting notifications, and I was like, oh. So you're telling me I already have it bad enough in my pants, and I used to. I don't think I do anymore. I used to get those. I think, fuck, I already have it bad enough in my pants. Did you ever get like pants? Yeah. Did you ever get phantom vibrations? Have you ever?
Oh, I do. I do all the time.
You still do?
I still do all the time. I won't even have my phone in my pockets, and I'll feel like, oh, I got a notification. Oh shit, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, all the time. It still happens.
That's what I mean. The phantom vibrations. I used to get those. I don't really think I do anymore. But that single thing alone was like, I was like, oh, I can't do that. I'm already like too distracted.
I'm 100% with you. As I got the very first one when they first came out.
Yeah.
And like I was really excited about it because I'm typically Apple nerd and I get first ones. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No. I was just butting in because you got the first one. I got like the first or second, but I got it for Nicole. Mm-hmm. And historically, like when I'll get her like technology, if it's like a computer, yeah, she uses it. But I remember like a long time ago, I got her an iPad and she never used it. And I was like, great, this is mine now. And so in my head, I still was like, I'm probably going to have an Apple Watch. Well, not entirely, but I did think there was a chance that I would end up with it. But no, she uses that thing like crazy. But anyway, so you got the first one.
No, and I had the same experience, but I was on that end. I felt rude because it's right. It's almost impossible to have this thing vibrate on your wrist and not look. Turn your wrist and look. Like it's like a physical twitch to like make you do it. And so, but now I don't deal with it because I feel like I've became an adult with my Apple, like my everything. And like I turn off notifications for everything. Like I don't need to check Slack every time somebody posts a message. I don't need to get a notification every time anything happens. The only ones I get right now are like my Ring cameras, like if someone comes to the front door. Or like if I get a text message or something like that. But even now, I feel like I do a better job of using focus mode, like it's on right now while we're recording.
So focus mode is the biggest update, which is probably a couple of years ago now. But that was the biggest update that made me go like, all right, like because we both use it a lot, and I actually really like that it tells the other user that you're in focus mode. It's like because people. Start to have that expectation, especially when you're like back and forth. You're like text, and then it's like, all right, now I'm going into a meeting, and you put it on focus mode, or you don't answer it in the meeting, and it's like, dude, did you not like that idea, or like, what's up? We're in the middle of a conversation. So you're putting it on focus mode. I actually like that it notifies the other user, at least when you're on Apple, that it's like, hey, they're in focus mode. So you're like, cool, I'll holler at him later. Pretty cool, in my opinion. Well,
so hold on though. This has been the thing with the Apple Watch, so we're just talking about the Apple Watch, that I'm curious your thoughts on. Two things. Okay. And I remember we told you I always have two things. So two things is
I love it.
One,
sometimes we only talk about one, even though
we'll probably only talk about one. But so one is like I still feel that no one has come out with like the greatest app use case for the Apple Watch yet. Like, I don't think there's some huge one yet that is blown up that are just like people can't live without anymore that is like lives on the Apple Watch. And two, it cut out. But two, it's like you're into more fitness stuff. And like the fitness is probably the only thing I feel like is popular really for the Apple Watch other than annoying notifications. And so I'm curious like your thoughts on fitness, digital fitness. Like watching the Apple Fitness videos on your phone or on the TV and doing those workouts, or like tracking it through the watch, and like do you see that like being like the real future, like the Pelotons of the world, or do you see like gyms and CrossFits and stuff like that are not going to ever go away?
But here's there's a couple of questions in there, but I don't think gyms are going to go away. I think there's like the human need to like, not everybody's the same. I know you kind of, that's right. Hey, there is part of it there when you start doing good and like, CrossFit's a little competitive. It's fun when you can start knocking people off and moving up. But also when I was going to the gym, I really got into the community of people and I liked them. And so I liked to be around them. And then you learn like the people that you like to do different types of workouts with and shit. And for me, it's far more motivating because I have my whole nerd like CrossFit rig set up in the garage, but I don't use it every day and it's right there. But like I would drive to the gym every day for years. Because there's like this, like, it's a different like endorphin release of like, oh, I'm with the homies, or oh, I did that, and the homies were like, yeah, go Steve, or whatever. You know what I mean? So I know I had that, and I know a lot of people do. I don't think that was going away.
Let me give you a caveat to that, though.
Okay.
What if I have a gym in my garage, you have a gym in your garage, we have TVs set up, and like you're seeing me, I'm seeing you, we're doing like a workout with like a digital trainer thing, like. That's still the pieces that you're talking about, like still like hanging with the homies. You can hear them, you can see how they're doing, all that kind of crap.
I think that's interesting. So I have never done the Peloton class with people. I've ridden my wife's got one. I've done it before. I don't think I've actually even done a class. I've just gotten on there and like turned up the resistance and did it for like 20 minutes or something. But I think there's an opportunity to like get halfway there. You're never going to get to the real people part because I don't know. Like this is as the future evolves. I continually get surprised, even though we're like quasi futurists. But I do think what you're talking about, if it is a set class at a set time and you paid for the class, there's got to be some requirements that make you do it. Because if it's just there anytime, it's easy not to do. But I think the other thing about what you were saying is if that class is limited, so it's like it doesn't even matter if the coach is pre-recorded or whatever, maybe, but like that class being like your group of peers and being able to like, you know, so yeah, just you and me, that'd be cool. And you know, if we could, as long as there's the ability to, I mean, I think technology has to advance a bit more with like cameras, and, you know, or just the setup, right? I think there's an opportunity. Like, I think you and I could do it, and we'd do some shit, and we'd come back and be like, "Holy fuck, you know, that was rough," or I could be like, "Dude, get it," like we took turns or something. I think there's probably something there. Like if you can build real relationships and kind of know the people, and like, I think there's also the thing that I think would be hard, but was not impossible, is also like the water cooler shit, which we talk about a lot. So even at the gym, it's like bullshitting was a very important part of it, you know, for me at least. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same way.
Yeah, I think right now where it's at, at least I haven't seen any like live streaming video like where you're seeing everybody, but like you could see my stats and my picture and I see yours going, but I don't know if that we can actually talk to each other, but I could be wrong because I'm not big.
Yeah, I mean, there's an interesting problem to solve there because I know what you're talking about, and I don't think it would be like, I don't know. That to me like takes away part of like, if I can just see your progress, we aren't getting to like cheer on each other or talk shit to each other or whatever.
Curtis, I remember he does yoga, and he used to do these like yoga classes on Zoom.
Okay.
Like, it was like he
I've
used to
that.
go, this was all during the pandemic, I think, like he used to go to her yoga class, like actually physically. And then during the pandemic, she moved everything online so that the class could still keep going. Which that's the kind of thing that kind of got me thinking about it. Like, I could see that working. It's still live. You can hear people talking. But now you're just in your own space.
I agree. I think that might be a way to combine those things. But one thing you just mentioned was that he already went there in person. He already knew the coach, and he already knew a lot of people probably.
But
so he's already established.
That. But yeah, removing the coach part, if it was just us and homies and we had like 10 of our people that we all know and there's nobody else, it's just our friends that are like doing this class, like with a private invite, the coach kind of, to me, doesn't really matter.
You're right. No. But what I was getting at, you're totally right. I agree with you. What I was getting at was the actual in-person relationships that he already had. And it's like, now we're going to do it online and you can see each other. And my wife actually, she had to teach like dance classes and shit. And what we ended up doing, this is where I think maybe it gets a little more complex, like not complex for somebody who wants to actually put it together, but as far as more consumer friendly, I think there's things would have to be figured out. Cause what we ended up doing at our old house was I taped off where the camera went, where her phone went, and I taped off where she needed to stand to put her in the right position to be able to move from side to side and front and back a little bit, you know, and it's always stay in frame. So
well, and that's what I'm picturing too, of like I'm picturing this random future of everyone in their garage. It's a 2-car garage, but 1-car area of that there's a rack,
that's basically the
requirement.
Bench. You've got a 1-car
and then there's
area.
A TV with like a webcam, you know, like streaming setup. You know, you run Ethernet through the attic to where it's like all your internet's really good in the garage, you know, and like it's like that's what I'm picturing. It's like
honestly,
an online gym.
I'm liking the idea of like test piloting this. Like I feel like it's crazy. There should be something out there, but you know, I'm like in sports tech now, and like
totally,
I've been
that's
a
why
part
I was
of all
asking.
these pitches. Yeah, I was recently a part of all these pitches, and there's some cool stuff, and then there's just some stuff that's like not gonna make it, you know. But there's nothing like this.
Well, but the other thing too is like I'm just like trying to like poke holes in it, and like there's the whole thing, like me and you go to the gym, or even if I come to your house, now we're taking turns. And so that thing that could have been a quick 20-minute workout, because nobody has any time. Like, we don't have 2 hours to just like hang out and do shit.
So driving and hanging out, that's a part of it. But like when you're in the gym, taking turns is pretty like seamless because you need a rest period typically. It's like you do a set, then you need to rest, then the other person does a set.
But you don't think that lengthens the amount of time that it's going to take to do that workout with 2 people?
Well, now you have to be so I don't know if you remember, I know you did CrossFit for a little while, but basically those workouts are usually timed in some capacity. It's like either how quick can you do this, or you do this within this amount of time with this much rest. So those classes, and obviously those have to be timed because you're going in and there's a class after you. So there was always like a structure to it. So I think that type of structure could probably help that a little bit.
I'm more just thinking about like people in today's world don't have any time. Right, everyone's
I got
super
you.
busy doing a million times, and like for me to have my own and you to have our own versus us taking turns on one.
Yeah, I get you.
I don't know.
My bigger point was really sorry, I know we're kind of cutting out a little bit. Damn it, Riverside. The bigger point that I was making though was that I agree. The drive and the hanging out part definitely like would elongate that time, but that's like the thing that you either have to get, I agree. I think this is a cool idea. I'm very interested in doing a little bit more searching to see if we can find anything like this. But
it wouldn't be hard to set up. Like, I mean, it's literally just like a webcam and like something to view it on. And then I just need to go spend $1 billion like you did on a gym setup for my garage. That's all.
Yeah, totally. I think the cool part now, you're pulling me back around. I like the idea of the integrate. I like the Zoom idea, and I like the idea, which I guess you're right. We could like, bootstrap this, pull it together just from different pieces. But I also do like the idea of being able to see some sort of like stats within like the same. It's like, here's Zoom, and then here's like what everybody's doing.
So
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm not you. I picture you having like some fucking journal of whatever you lifted last time, or knowing how much you lifted last time.
Yeah, man,
I'm that person. See, that's the thing. I'm that person at the gym. I just put the same weight every single time that I go, and I just do the reps, and I go
every
home.
single time you go, you're like, I'm maxed out.
Yeah, pretty much. And so it's like, what would be interesting to me as far as like a user experience is I'm seeing like, okay, I was doing 145 on bench last month, or last workout that we did. And then like literally it knows that I just did, more. I just did 205. And so it's showing me my percentage that I increased. And so it's like visually giving me some gamification of like,
totally.
I just increased something, that was my whole point, is like, not just like the big gym setups, but like the tonals and like the mirror and like all those ones with like the built-in gym thing.
Oh, well,
it's like, do you think that's the future?
There's a lot of stuff coming out because I'm in sports tech, but it's focused around computer vision. There's a lot of computer vision stuff coming out that like, you can set up on a rig or whatever, and like it tracks like what you're doing, like the type of movement you're doing and all that. It's still pretty early. All these guys they're all trying to do it though. And there's going to be some stuff that comes out that I think that is interesting and probably pretty useful. I think when you start tying that together, if you start tying that together with video and community, I think, man, I'm almost feeling like there's like some slam dunk there. Now that's some heavy technology, I think. And, but yeah, man, I think that could be cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just go spend a bunch of money and set it up.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm not entirely opposed. But, okay, so this is, though, I will tell you, back to the Apple Watch.
Apple event.
The Apple event, and the watch in particular that we were discussing. I'm kind of interested now. And because I've always kind of liked the way they look. But this new one looks really cool. We now have focus mode. And I forgot why I was like, that I had some big point of like why I'm going to get it. But I think it's probably mostly around the whole focus mode thing. And I've never used like you guys have always used the Apple, trackers and stuff. Oh, one thing I was going to say, in regards to all the fitness apps and all this stuff, like I've never really done a good job getting into them because there's more data that I want than just a specific thing. And so it's like, how many steps or how much this, so, and I quit wearing everything. Like, I've had the Whoop tracker to track my sleep. Well, maybe it's just that. And then I've had a Fitbit, of course. And then, I don't know what all shit I want to track. The thing is, I also want to track, like, I don't love tracking food, but I just want one place that kind of ties it all together in a good way where you can see like what you're actually doing. Like, it's like if it's like you're trying to improve your car. It's like, what are all the things you could do to improve it? And like, okay, you did this, you spent this much money or you put that much effort in, how is that improving the overall, like you getting to where you want to be? I'm sure like everybody's trying it. The problem is that like, all these spaces, they want to own it. Right. So like, they don't necessarily all make their, APIs work together. I guess most things kind of will sync into the Apple Watch. And there again, I haven't actually used any of that crap. So, or Apple Health or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. I may have some different opinions because I'm actually pretty interested in getting this next one.
That you described it correctly because like one of the projects I'm working on, that's literally what we're doing.
That's right.
Grabbing data from all over the place and then inserting it into Apple Health. So,
gotcha. Yeah.
Like your point, like you get the glycose.
Yeah. Okay. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the other kind of stuff I wasn't going to bring up, but yeah, I would love to. That shit's really expensive still.
Well, when you said food, that's what I was thinking you were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, you can also track your food, which, we've gone down that path a little ways. We probably need to, launch that thing at some point. Well, but it's a little different, right? It's a little different. But what you said was more on board. Like I want to track like my blood and see what's going on.
I'll say it in a different way. I don't want to track anything. I want these things to track all this shit for me and just tell me something, right? And
yeah,
like,
I
don't want the work.
Well,
that's why I'll buy this. That's why I'll buy this shit. I want it to do the work for me.
I think we're kind of saying the same thing because I can track everything and it's a lot of work. What I am saying is, I want the devices to track everything and then send it into like a single place that actually makes sense that I don't have to like, there's probably like some presets and then there's advanced mode where if you like are like a Tyler and at the gym and about everything you want specifically, you're like, all right, tweak the knobs. This is what I want to see or this is what I want to track differently. And then there's probably some out of the box like, hey, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is good. This is bad. Here's recommendations or something like that.
Yeah, but you said it right too. The problem is everyone's trying to own that data,
right?
And everyone has their own. Like you said, you'd have to normalize it so that it all works, and so you'd have to literally. It's a whole project to do it for the glycose meter. It's a whole project to do it for this scale over here. It's a whole project to do it for this fat tracker over here. It's a whole project to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
See, dude, you're good. Yeah. You just listed off a lot of great things that would be good to track together to see how they correlate, and. Maybe there's some shit out there, but it's not popular enough that I fucking know about it. Which
well, I mean,
a lot, I guess.
What I would predict is that there's going to be companies that get semi-popular that do those things, and Apple will buy each one of them and introduce them into Apple Health.
Yeah, if they can do it, I'll follow Apple. But the other version of that, there's the other version, which is where I thought you were going, which is like. Company gets big, they've got this great data, then Microsoft acquires them, and then they fucking shut it down because they just want to do something. I don't know. There's always some reason Microsoft wants to shut some great shit down.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point. That may happen.
Yeah. Well, the other feature that was, or the other thing that was discussed during the Apple event was called, God damn it, what's it called? Something Island. Have you heard this name? Why am I forgetting now?
Dynamic Island.
Dynamic Island, thank you. Which is like very markety. Basically, you know how the Apple or the iPhones, have the notch, the little notch in them where it cuts out part of the screen. Well, you know why that's there, right?
Yeah, because all the cameras and hardware is all there.
Yeah. So basically, what they've done is they've tried to hide the camera and this, I guess it's the microphone up there where you put your ear or something. They've tried to hide that in the UI. So basically they've got this like little pill shape, and they've made it as small as they can to go just around the camera and that little speaker thing or whatever. And then what they've done to make it feel like a part of the UI is that it's actually not black. Like it's not, pardon me, it is black, but it's not part of the hardware where, you know, it's black and there's no ability to see the screen behind that. What they've done is they've minimized it and made the hardware a very tiny black space. But then what they do is they put a black pill shape of the UI around it, and the screens are so amazing now that like it looks like true black. And so what they've done is they have that thing grow and change. Like if you go to set your iPhone up to charge, it'll spread out and say, boop, it's charging. And it'll like, it just uses that for like different types of notifications. I'm probably fucking that up a little bit. But the other thing is it'll not only grow sideways, but it'll grow to like show you like alerts and stuff, but it's always coming from that little pill shape. And it's kind of, to me, it's interesting. I mean, you have to take steps. Like, yeah, there was the notch and everybody talked shit, and then they kept the notch, but they tried to make it a little smaller. And now the notch is a little less, you know, visible. So I don't hate it. And I mean, there's a bunch of other cool, you know, as always, there's more cool stuff. The camera's apparently like 48 megapixels, which kind of blows my mind. Like when I was a professional fucking photographer, like my badass camera was like 6 megapixels. And I was like, yeah, sweet.
And it was like 10 grand.
Yeah, no, like I did get that was on the lower end when I started my photography career, but it was still like normal. So it was probably like 2 or 3 grand, right? But now, yeah, you've got this device that does everything and has this amazing camera. It's honestly, I used to know a lot of photographers, and a lot of them would be like, yeah, well, the iPhone basically kind of put me out of business, because now all these kids that used to come, so, you know, I'm kind of in the dance world and the arts world and all that. And I knew photographers. And so a lot of them would do like, you know, either like headshots because dancers were sending their stuff. I mean, there's still stuff that you have to have a real camera for. Like if you're doing like low light events and you want to capture somebody jumping through the air, like you're not doing that on an iPhone. Like you still have to have, you know, real optical lenses and shit. But anyway, so yeah, I'm sure there's other shit, but that one thing in particular was like what kind of made the internet, at least the nerd internet, kind of go crazy.
It's one of those things. Until we're in the sci-fi like world where it's a clear piece of glass that can just project everything and self-charge from static in your pocket, there's going to be some fucking hardware that's got to go somewhere.
Some limitations, yeah.
So
like, let's not forget that. But what I did forget, the whole reason I brought up that I was really interested in the Apple Watch, was because you can take calls and stuff through it. Which I know this is old news to everybody, but I've just not been interested enough to like go down that path. But I have this idea of like not taking my phone at all. And now, as long as you have like the cellular plan or whatever for your watch, I can do everything that I really want to do. I can check messages, even though it's not ideal. But my idea is that maybe if I can leave the phone, this is a little bit less enticing, as long as I've got alerts silenced, right? Like we talked about. But it's maybe a little less enticing to like dive into because it's a little too small. But it gets me what I need.
I will say, and I don't know your thoughts on this. A very big annoyance for me is people that walk around and talk on their phone on speakerphone and just like
with it
in front.
That also annoys the shit out of me, especially when they're holding it like that right in front of their face and you're like, just move it a couple of inches and you won't bother the fucking shit out of everybody.
I feel very similar though with the people that take phone conversations like on their phone, especially when their phone is right there. Like, yeah. I don't want to hear your conversation. Like, you know,
I 100% agree with you on that.
So, but I'm with you. You wanted to go for a jog or you want to go do something and you don't have shit in your pocket.
Hang on, just to clarify, I don't even want to go for a jog. I want to try to like see if I can separate just my life a bit more from the phone. And I think it would be interesting. Like, can I just leave the house regularly? Device. Well, yeah, but like I said, man, like one that maybe is less enticing to like baby steps, bro. But I'm also with you. And I also thought about that when I had this idea of like, I can do calls through that. Yeah, man, I'm not doing that shit like where everybody can just hear it. Cause also I don't actually like people hearing my shit, which is odd that some people don't give a fuck.
It's
but
cool.
AirPods.
It's cool for a second because it's like Dick Tracy, you know, it's like we finally got the Dick Tracy watch, you know, do you know who Dick Tracy is?
Say that again.
Dick Tracy?
Fucking Riverside. Oh yeah. Dick Tracy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like it's cool for a second. That first time, it's really cool to have a watch that you can talk to, and you know. Okay. But then after that one time, you're like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Not trying to go down the rabbit hole, but a long time ago, there were some apps that were popular, and Anthony and I in our old company, we actually worked on one of these, which was like the walkie-talkie app. Mm-hmm. You remember when that got popular for a minute? Mm-hmm. That's one thing for like the homies, like, you know, you and me, where I could be like, yo, bitch, what the fuck you doing? Let's meet up. And it's just like sitting there. It's almost like, it's kind of like dictation, I guess, except you actually, I guess you can kind of almost do that now without, but you know, I just remember that being really simple because you just were like, yo, what the fuck are we doing? And it didn't actually like read words. So it was actually, you would get it and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're like, bitch, I ain't doing shit. Whatever.
Which is funny that is just like old school cell phone.
Walkie-talkie.
Like flip phone, like the Nokia. Hey, what are you doing? Yep. You know, like that shit's been around forever, you know, but it's also, it's like in our whole like GDPR privacy world, like, I don't know that that'll fucking fly anymore, that you can just jump into somebody's fucking audio at their house, wherever they happen to be. I don't know. There's weird shit with all that, but I'm with you.
Well, the way those worked.
But they're novelty. I feel like they're novelty for a second because it's just like
because
like with us, it's us would do that once and then be like, that was cool, and then you just be like, all right, I'm gonna call you, and you just call, and then we just talk to each other. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
Well, and to be fair, you're right, because those haven't really. I think they probably still get used a bit, but like they aren't like, they blew up for a little while just on the normal dork scene where everybody had, I can't remember what it was called, but there was some app that basically just did that, and you know, not really around anymore, at least in terms of popularity. But okay, now I know I took us back, we're jumping all over the place, but on this Dynamic Island, God, the name makes me laugh, seriously.
It's a horrible name.
You know, I do my scrolling from time to time on LinkedIn. I don't know, I talk so much shit about it, but yet I like, we don't have to get into that, but it's like, I do like to see what the people around me, you know, the things that are happening in their lives. And I don't really look at Facebook, and it's a whole different audience anyway. It's like my career buds or whatever, you know, so I'll scroll LinkedIn. I know. But anyway, when you do that, you know, LinkedIn, the piece of shit that it is, or the part of the piece of shit, is basically that, you know, we've talked about this a lot. There's like, you know, it's kind of like the business Facebook, I guess, where people still just want to like, you know, talk shit and have opinions. And I don't always hate it, but I do think it's funny. And so I felt like last night as I was scrolling, I saw the kingpin of snobbery come through, of design snobbery, which we talk about frequently. But let me just give the brief overview. So, pardon me. So basically this guy, I saw like a screenshot of, you know, our boy Tobias Van Schneider that we've talked about being like, you know, really cool designer, doing lots of cool stuff. You know, I still think that's the case, you know, doing cool shit. But I saw a screenshot of his, and then I read this dude's thing, and his name's Matteo Galetti, and he's a UX addict, marketing designer, and social media special ... Haven't clicked on to see what the rest of that is, but anyway, you get where his head is, sort of. So he says, "Finally, someone said it out loud!" ! The Dynamic Island introduced by Apple is just some fancy words to make you forget about the fact that you can't watch a video in full screen without a freaking hole in your screen. Is it a cool UI element to design? Maybe. Is it something to generate all this hype about? Not at all if you forget about the UX part of UI. And then just to go on real quick before we start shitting on people, sorry I'm clearing my throat so much, folks. Try to get that under control. But the quote from Tobias, whatever, basically said the design industry being overly ecstatic over the introduction of a small confined space in which they can now design makes me question everything. Perhaps what we need is a new God. I'm like, Jesus, drama, folks. And I thought on a couple of levels, like, you know, for one, the way that, you know, Tobias wrote that, it's like, perhaps we need a new God. I'm like, dude, really, that's so extreme. Like, come on. Then my real thoughts on it are like, I have two things. One, people can get fucking excited about shit. Like, every year the iPhone comes out with something, they want to make it exciting. That's why they call that a fucking dynamic island. They're trying to like put some hype around it. And it's fucking, for one, it's just okay that people, yeah, you're not excited about it because you're too fucking cool. But like the industry itself, and here's the thing. This is why I think I'm right here. Just like you said, there's limitations. There's limitations. Yeah, that would be cool. Like you said, we don't have anything in our pockets and we just see this like, you know, holographic thing pop up, or it's going to be the glasses one day, and then eventually it'll be the contacts, and then eventually it'll be the chip that we all have. But right now, it's a piece of hardware with limitations, but a piece of hardware that also put a fucking 48 megapixel camera in there, the ability to talk to anybody at any time, not only over the phone, but looking at each other and having video chats. You can fucking do your finances. You can like, there's people that like run their lives off of like their fucking iPhones. Like when I see people that are always, doing email, I kind of still live that life where I wake up and I try to take care of email and I'll do it on my computer. Now I'll do it from time to time on my phone, but when I'm trying to bust through real shit, it's still on the computer. But I know people that like their whole life is like, it's like the BlackBerry days where like, I do business. Anyway, getting back to my point is that yes, like you said, we still have limitations. And they're taking these baby steps. Like I said earlier, it like used to be a big notch. Then it was a smaller notch. Now it's an even smaller little thing in the way. And to say something like, oh, you can't watch a full video. It's like, dude, unless there's one fucking little thing over at the very side of the video, like when you watch a fucking movie, like you focus on the subject matter, which is typically towards the center, maybe a little off center if they're holding something or whatever. There's rarely anything important like out towards the edge. Yeah, I get it. It covers up like a little minute area of the screen. Yet you can still fucking watch a fucking movie on a pretty giant screen that you just carry around in your pocket all the time. I just think it's like this absurd like little bitch fest of like, it's not good enough now. Then I'm like, what's the fucking solution then, bro? I don't know. I just read that and I just like, here we go, man.
So
shut the fuck up.
What's really interesting is normally we're on the same page with these things.
All right. Fucking bring it.
And in a less snobbery way, I agree with both of these statements.
Okay. All right.
I watch a lot of video on my phone.
Okay.
And so I think that the solution to me is like put it in the corner and put it on the edge. Like don't put it in the screen to like, just because, right? Because you will, like when you're watching something, yes, most of the content is meant to be in the center, but it does move around and you're going to leave chunks. You're going to lose chunks of like stuff. Right.
Okay.
And maybe there is a solution. I haven't seen a video play. Maybe they just moved the video over and now the full screen is off to the side or something like that. I don't know. I didn't see the whole thing, but I kind of agree. I feel like there probably is a better solution than having it in the middle of the display. Not to mention just thinking about building products. How costly is it to make a fucking digital display that now has to like literally go around, like have a hole in it? Like you would think it's normally just a flat screen. Now we've got to build one that has a hole in it. It seems like way more work and way more cost. But so on that side, I'm literally I like the idea of like it can grow and it can do things, and now it's the notification center and all that kind of stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah.
How they integrated the pieces together. Just personally thinking about watching videos, I feel like I always focus on the thing that I'm not supposed to look at that's supposed to disappear.
Okay.
My brain does the opposite, and I'm just gonna fucking see it all the time unless there's some way that it can just magically feel like it disappears when I'm watching a video. The other one, the whole like perhaps we need a new God, as dramatic as that sounds, and I think, and I could be completely wrong, but what I think that he's trying to say is Apple design, UI, hardware, everything used to be the mecca. Us as designers, like whatever they're doing is the greatest thing in the world. Mm-hmm. Whatever iOS 16 looks like is the best that it could possibly be. But there's lots of other really pimp badass shit that's out there. There's, you know what I mean? And there's lots of
I don't
other
disagree.
things. Even Google with material design and stuff like that is really nice and clean.
Maybe I didn't read that the same way, because the way you're saying it, like if we're talking about like the god of like, you know, hardware or whatever, like
I'm thinking the god of design, like
god of design, god of hardware.
Like, you know,
for me when I read it, I was thinking just much more dramatic of like, you know, the thing that. And I guess you could say, yes, the thing we worship, but I don't think it's really the thing that people worship. People just get excited and like it. And I do think that they still have great design. But the way that you're putting it, I kind of get that now. So
well, and I feel like this has been happening and been a conversation, obviously, since Steve Jobs died. You know, like there's only one Steve Jobs. That like there's only one person that took it to that level, had those ideas, that was like not gonna sacrifice. Like
limitations
whatever.
Are not existent.
You know, it's been like, and I think that it is a little more business. It's still beautiful. It's not ugly by any means, but like it's not Steve Jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
Tim Cook is not Steve Jobs. So
100%.
And like we got rid of what's his name, Johnny Ives isn't even there anymore.
Right.
Like,
totally.
I don't even know who runs the design stuff anymore.
True.
You know? So
well. I still think...
I'm not totally dissing what you said, just to be clear.
No,
I'm just saying,
I get it. Well,
I read it. I read it in a different tone. And
you're
so
like, yeah, I agree. You're like, oh, we don't agree on that. Okay. No, I like your perspective, for sure. Still, the video thing, I guess, you know, we're different. So that's good to, you know, obviously you have to hear what a lot of people say. And I'm the guy that, like, if I'm interested enough in the content, I'm probably not going to notice that, which is probably why my wife says shit like, when you'd never make a good spy, which is always painful to think. Most boys growing up, you know, I'm gendering, but dude, always want to be spies, right? But I do think that there has to be at least an acknowledgement. Yes, I think you're actually, your point on Steve Jobs is interesting, because I would pay some serious money just to see what that timeline, like what a different reality would look like if Steve Jobs was still alive. Like to see what everything that we own today, all the Apple stuff that we own, I would pay money just to see what that alternate universe looked like if he was still alive. Because God, it could be so totally different, because the dude didn't have limitations.
And he had rules, right? Like we wouldn't have an iPhone Plus. Like he was like,
oh, right.
The whole point of the iPhone is that your thumb can literally touch anywhere on the whole thing, which makes the
it was still before we ever came out with any of the bigger ones when he passed away, huh?
It was only Android phones were the only ones doing like the Samsung Note and all that kind of stuff that they called the toaster when it first came out,
right?
All that stuff.
I remember when people around us got that, and I was like, "What in the fuck is that?"
No, because his whole thing was if you want a bigger screen, get an iPad, you know, and like. It's not meant to have a giant screen to be your phone.
Which I don't remember.
It's a small piece.
Yeah, I can't remember which one you have. Do you? I did the big one. I think one or two of them, and then I went back. Okay, I went back to the smaller one because just like you know the giant thing.
Now I hold the small one in my hand and I'm like, this is like a baby toy. Like, what is this little thing?
Oh,
like,
dude,
I'm like, how would I even type with this? But I don't type. I do the swipe thing. So
yeah. Have you ever? So you're saying the smaller one now. Have you ever put the old one back in your hand again? I mean, have you
I've got.
Dude, those definitely
seen
feel so tiny. Your
there's
museum?
Yeah, like in that middle box, there's like every phone and iPad and stuff that I've ever had. There's like 20 or something in there.
Nice. I've still got a few, and I'll move them around from time to time. I kind of keep them all together. And I did that. It was probably months ago now, but I did grab that original one, and I was like, wow, that fucking does feel tiny. And I kind of like something about that, to be honest.
I do think that the old ones feel nicer in your hand. Like,
yeah.
Like the smoothness or the materials or whatever.
Do you remember the G3 that came out and it had like the smooth, like it was almost kind of curved just a little bit? Mm-hmm. That was my first one. And that thing just went in your pocket so easy and it was so small. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I remember like nothing ever feeling quite like that one. Now, I do think it would probably be, I don't know if I could actually go back that small or if I would want to, but like, I like the idea of it, like, whoop, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, why I'm like, can I just go to the watch, period. But
no, you're right. Like the watch, I wasn't thinking about it the way you were talking about it. I was thinking of the watch by itself, not the watch with the AirPods. This watch with the AirPods, you have your speaker and your mic here,
yeah,
right? And even with one, you could literally just deal with the phone. Right.
I think I'm gonna try that.
You don't have to type a message. You can dictate a message like with text messaging and email and stuff. So you really probably could go.
Going back to the little nuggets of information that it shares whenever you send a message. I also like that it says sent with Siri, because then you get away with like the just most fucked up messages. It's like I tried to say it, and I'm not gonna try to fix it.
Here's what's dumb. So there's the microphone when you're doing text messages, right? And maybe it's getting better, but the microphone when you're doing the dictation in iMessage doesn't do that. But if I do it from Siri, then it does do that.
Oh.
But here's the part that's weird. I feel like Siri understands me. She knows I cuss. She types out the cuss word. When I try to do the dictation from the keyboard, it's like ducking and just like it tries to do all the autocorrect horribleness.
Oh,
so it's like they're separated.
They're using separate technology. That's interesting.
Yeah, because there's the keyboard that's its own thing, and then there's
Siri,
I
got you.
That's its own thing.
Right. Like, there's the keyboard and it has that little microphone button, and you push that, and you're like, "Hey, bro, catch up with you later." And it's like, "Hey, I was gonna try to make some bullshit up, but yeah." I love when it just fucks it up.
I'm banging your mom later.
You're like, that's not what?
Send.
Bro, not funny. Yeah. Do you want to send this? No. Okay, it's been sent. Nice. Well, are you interested at all in getting on that next iPhone? Or you do you live the lives of your iPhone, or do you ever get the thing where you can trade it in early?
I used to just get it. Right? Like it used to be what I did. I would just get the new one because
we're nerds.
I know, but I feel like I got sort of kind of smart where it's like tends to always be like, okay, we came out with the iPhone 7 and now there's going to be an iPhone 7S or whatever they were. Like there's always like a middle one, and that middle one is always adds the feature that you're like, fuck, I wish I had that.
Right.
And so I tend to do the every other, just in case there's some upgrade in the middle. And so I might not get this one. I'll probably just get the next one. Unless there's something amazing that I don't know about. But I've been running iOS 16 on my phone for the beta.
Oh yeah, you're the beta man. Yeah, no, I think it's probably close enough that I'd be down for skipping, but I believe that I paid the extra to because I'll do that where I've done it before where I pay the little extra so that I can trade it in early, and then I end up just fucking keeping the phone because I'm too lazy. I'm like, oh, what? I can trade this in? All right, I'll get around to it. And then another one, or typically what'll happen by the time I decide, I'm like, I'm going to trade this bitch in. It's like August or, a few months away from, September, which is when they always historically get released. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll just wait. But this time I think I paid the extra. So if I did and I'm eligible, I'm just going to go ahead and level that bitch up. See what happens.
I mean, I need to watch the event and see if there's something that I'm like, ooh, that's fucking sexy. But like a dynamic island camera thing doesn't get me excited. More megapixels on the camera doesn't get me excited. Like,
there's probably nothing
running
that is
4K
that much-
4K video on this one, and and like it's fucking beautiful photos and portrait mode anyway. So it's like, I don't know. I don't need.
Yeah, I don't know, and I didn't watch it either. I just watched the highlights, but I don't think there's probably anything that's like substantial enough to say. The ones we have, the one I've had, I think you've got like the latest one, the 13 or whatever. I mean, it's been pretty fucking badass. No cracks.
But it'll start to break because that's what happens magically.
Yeah,
every time
totally.
a new phone come out, suddenly the phones don't work anymore.
Yeah. Oh, you're on some old shit, and you're like, it's only a year old. What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's last year's model.
Yeah,
only lasts
this doesn't work with that.
8 months.
Yeah.
Around Black Friday when they all get released and everything, like that's when it's just like your phone just doesn't work anymore. Thanksgiving is like
it's like, oh, you might as well. Yeah. Speaking of, like, they never have any level of sale whatsoever. Like, it doesn't matter.
No. Apple's known for that. Their stuff doesn't go on sale. I say that, but at Costco you can get things on sale. They debunked that because like at our spa, and my wife, she's running like a Mac Mini, which is like a big monitor, and like those go on sale all the time. And I was like, oh, fuck you, Apple, you never go on sale. Why are these on sale?
Interesting.
But Costco fucking
you
runs
heard it,
things.
Folks. Fucking go to Costco to get your Apple devices.
Yeah, dude, back in the day, like before they changed their return policy, you could literally trade it in every year and get a new computer.
I think it's still not that far off. They still have an insane return policy.
It's 90 days on computers.
Oh, for hardware, for computers. Okay.
Computers,
probably
electronics like TVs and stuff like that. It's 90 days now because people like me were taking them back like years later.
A year is plenty of time for me to make that effort. 90 days, I'll be like, man, I just got this big bitch up on the wall. All right, well, let's take it down. Go trade this motherfucker in.
But if a bigger size came out, in 90 days, if a new one came out, I'm down to take it back.
They're like, why are you bringing this back? You're like, just
totally random. Has nothing to do with them, Apple at all. But LG, have you seen the new TV that is like it's thinner than an iPad? I mean, than an iPhone, and it mounts with magnets so that it's like flush to the wall.
Oh,
like
shit.
It's fucking tiny thin and just snaps to there. And like it has like all of its hardware and stuff. It's like you run a wire and you can put it like in your TV stand or whatever. Like it's all
very interesting
somewhere else. So it's literally like a display and then a computer. Like and so that way they can make it like fucking crazy thin and like OLED and crazy.
So I got the OLED when we moved into this house, and it was kind of like a big expense that was probably kind of stupid, but God, they're so beautiful. Have you seen how thin the one that I have is? Mm-hmm. The one that I have mounted up? It is that thin, but the computer is mounted to the back, and so it's probably
I think that's thick. It's the same we were talking about with the phone and the hardware and the cameras. It's got to go somewhere unless you can remove it, and that's what the new LG did, which is kind of smart, especially now when you build a new house or do something, you could run the wires through the wall. Yeah, and like you won't see anything. Like it's just literally like a piece of art just stuck to the wall, and it's like super thin.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know.
Now what they need to do is create like the super flat LG mount so you can like move that bitch, because I don't know about you, your fireplace is a little bit lower. Like I really hated like always looking up at my old house because we mounted it over the fireplace, and I always felt like I was like, this sucks. I can't ever just like chill out. So we got this cool mount that actually like pulls down and comes down, and it's more enjoyable.
No, yours is cool. No, yours is like what I'd want, because then it's like if like where my house is, like my dining room's off to the side, so I could turn it over there and sit at the table and watch. But like we don't have a TV on the fireplace anymore because you can only put a 50-inch TV there. It's because of where my ceiling is. And where the fireplace is. I'm like, this is stupid. I want a big ass TV.
Yeah, you're like, this isn't the experience.
Yeah. So now we have the big ginormo one in the back, and we don't have a TV in the living room. So we look like weirdo people that don't have a TV, which is
I love it.
Weird.
You know, I'm that nerd. I'm like, I'd rather just not have all these TVs, but that doesn't fly with the rest of the family. So
no, it doesn't fly with me. I don't want one in every room. I'd put one in my shower if I could. So I'm gonna need that when I build a house. just watching the news while I'm showering. You know, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I've always
I say that, but
by
I
the way.
kind of wouldn't mind having one in the shower.
Well, it's especially even just like speakers and like it's somehow being. I wonder, you know how like Sonos, like when you set up your Sonos, like it like listens to the room so it can like figure out how the sound bounces off of it. Do you know that? Like
no, I didn't actually know that.
It has like sensors to like optimize itself for the room that it's in or where it's placed. I wonder how it would do in a shower since it's like tile bouncing the sound around everywhere.
Yeah,
it just if there's a way to make it, if there's just a way to make it good sounding, or if there's specific speakers made for like tile in the showers and shit. I don't know. Anyway, that's like my.
Well, I guess we're getting
I want to spend money on
our new screens in our gyms, and then we're going to get our screens in our showers. And
yeah.
Oh, cool! Because then we can go straight from the gym to the shower, and we can still kind of hang out.
Just keep talking. Yeah, just hanging out.
Yeah. I'll meet you in the shower. Sweet, bro.
Which is the same real like working out gym.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, go to hit the showers.
And then the older we get, and I know I've told you about this because I went to John Landry's for a while, and they have a lot of old folks there. It's a badass gym, but the old folks, love it.
Let it fly.
Dude, they let it fly. Old dudes just butt naked, hanging out, having coffee, sitting on this leather couch. And I was just like, oh, that leather couch has to be just fucking disgusting.
So apparently it's not just the dudes. Joanne tells me it's the same in her locker room. Like the older chicks just like don't give a fuck, just walking around butt ass naked. They're just like, you got one too. We all got it.
Yeah.
You know? And you're like, I'm hot. Right, well, I'm going to cool off naked.
Yeah, cool these balls off a little bit. Well, cool. That's probably a good way to end the pod. Awesome.
Speaking of cooling these balls off, don't forget about our sponsor.
Hey, gang. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast of your own? Well, quit thinking about it and get started. Check out Riverside.fm. It's an amazing platform that allows you to record high-quality audio and video directly to your computer. They've also got amazing built-in editing tools that you can use directly in the browser. It's super easy. With a few clicks, you'll be ready to publish. Quit waiting around. You want to start a podcast? Get started today. Check out Riverside.fm. Use our promo code UXWeekly. What are you waiting for? Can't wait to hear your podcast. Good job, Ray. Excellent.
Beautiful transition.
Absolutely. I stand behind. I'm behind it. Yeah. All right, man. Well, good catching up. Yeah, that was fun. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to the whole fucking podcast, which I know isn't hard to do because pure entertainment here. So, but we do appreciate you. Be sure to like and subscribe. Whether you really liked it or want to subscribe or not, it's not that much extra junk. Just hook us up, folks. Anyway, until next time, everyone, have a fantastic day and the rest of your week, and we'll see you later. Deuces.
Later.